Sometimes it takes something unusual to give us that flavor explosion we've been craving. That's why we experiment with different tastes, even if they might seem extremely off-putting in the first instance. So today, we are going to show you some food ideas that look terrible, but taste delicious. Make sure you stay to the end to see a breakfast with a difference. If this is your first time visiting The Things, then please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. Today, we are taking a look at 10 food combinations that are gross but good. Banana hot dog. Do you like hot dogs? We do. It's a pretty versatile treat. The combination of frankfurter sausage and a roll of bread can be absolutely perfect. Match them with some ketchup, mustard, and maybe even onions, you have a wonder snack. However, if you don't eat meat or want to really maintain a healthy lifestyle, it may not be ideal. But did you know that you can create a version of a hot dog that's both vegetarian and probably healthier? The only thing is, it sounds a bit horrible because it's got a banana in it. You might think that the fruit and the bread wouldn't make a combination, but think about it. One of the chief characteristics of the banana is that it's soft and mushy. So with this sort of soft roll that you'd make a hot dog with, it actually works. The secret to this recipe is that it doesn't garnish the banana with ketchup. Let's face it, that would be a bit silly. What it does is use either raspberry or strawberry squeezy jelly to give a bit of zing to the banana's softer flavor. Some people take it to another level, adding in peanut butter and granola to give some crunch to a pretty soft textured recipe. And others can make it a bit more colorful by adding some green kiwi jelly. So while it might look odd, it tastes good. Ice cream covered fries. When we go to a fast food place, we like to have fries with our meal. They may not be the healthiest thing to eat, but when they're warm and fresh, then we find it rather hard to resist them. The same thing goes for an ice cream. That's a real treat to finish off a meal. But eating both at the same time? We'd certainly think twice before doing that, but one person didn't. Her name is Claudia Villela, and she swears that dipping French fries in a McDonald's chocolate sundae is yummy. But when we start to think about it, our reservations start to disappear. A lot of ice creams come with wafers, right? And like a good French fry, they're crunchy and crispy, so that works. And you might think that the salt could be an issue. And again, the combination of salt and sweet flavors is rather nice. Have you ever had a sea salted chocolate or salted caramel? It's like that, absolutely delicious. So we think that Claudia really is onto something. And of course, it could work with any chocolate ice cream and any French fry, not just the ones you get at McDonald's. Did you know that it's been a while since the McDonald's franchise has had anything to do with anyone called McDonald's? That's because the company was largely inspired by a small restaurant that American businessman Ray Kroc visited back in the 1950s. He bought the name, and the rest is history. Marmite pasta. There are some things which split opinion more or less 50-50. There are things that you pretty much kinda have to hold an opinion on. You can't remain neutral. You have to get off the fence in one way or another. For millions of people in the United Kingdom, the thing that splits opinion when it comes to food is Marmite. If you aren't familiar with it, Marmite is a dark, almost black, gloopy thing that is usually spread on bread and toast. It usually comes in a jar, it is made from yeast, and it has a distinctive salty taste, and it is a subject of a lot of debate in Britain. The company rather cleverly harnessed that when they advertised it with the slogan, "You either love it or hate it." We think that the product, which is high in B vitamins, is something it's impossible not to have an opinion on once you've tasted it. But even we'll admit that things got a bit odd when one of the UK's biggest cooking stars got involved. Nigella Lawson, whose recipes and TV shows made her a household name in her home country, published a Marmite pasta recipe. The chef said she was inspired by Italian food writer Anna Del Conte, who mentioned it in her memoirs. Nigella says there's not much difference between using Marmite and a stock cube. That may be true, but stock won't spark as many arguments as Marmite. Cheese and jelly. One of the most popular snacks there is the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The good old PB&J is a staple go-to food for when you're feeling a little bit peckish. There's something about the combination of flavors that really hits the spot. However, if you're a gourmet, you'll know the joys of experimenting with cheese. So one smart, or possibly brave, person decided that rather than put his jelly on peanut butter, he would instead put it on cheese. But not any sort of cheese. He would put it on goat's cheese. If you had to define the biggest difference between goat's cheese and regular cheese made from cow's milk, it would be the texture. Goat's cheese tends to be a lot softer than your average cheese, which we think would go well with jelly. It would be easy for the two foods to get mixed up, which would mean it would be easier for the flavors to combine. But there's another twist. This isn't your usual strawberry or raspberry jelly. This is hot pepper peach jam. That in itself has a little bit of an unusual combination of flavors. Like, we can get behind a hot pepper jelly, which will give you quite a kick in the mouth. Ditto with a peach jelly. That's a lovely, sweet, subtle flavor that we can imagine would leave you wanting more and more. But the two together, with goat's cheese, it's tastier than you'd think. Cauliflower popcorn. When you go to the movies, what do you like to eat? If you're anything like us, then your answer will be popcorn. Whether they're the sweet kind or the salty variety, they are incredibly Moorish, and we just love them. Here's a fun fact. Native Americans were the first people to make the stuff more than 3,000 years ago, but it was only in the 1930s that it really hit the big time. Corn was cheap to buy, and it was easy to turn into popcorn. When you consider that this was in the time of the Great Depression and money was tight, this gave it a real boost. And with the popularity of the movies booming, smart cinema owners were able to sell bags for audiences to munch on at the flicks. Thus, a tradition was born. Okay, so we probably knew that already. But what about if, instead of corn, we used a cauliflower to make popcorn? Sounds kind of wrong, right? When we were kids, cauliflowers were rather serious, somber, and not very fun. Basically, they're the opposite of popcorn. But it looks like we were way wrong. The recipe, which uses turmeric, peppers, and coconut oil to enhance the flavors, is incredibly tasty. And not only that, it has a real crispness and crunch that makes it a whole load of fun to eat. Swedish banana pizza. Bananas are a pretty versatile fruit. Because they have quite a subtle flavor, they can be combined with a range of other delicious goodies. And because of their pulpy texture, they can be used as an ingredient to fill out something. Think of a delicious smoothie. Even though you most certainly can't taste it, there's a good chance that there's some banana in there to thicken it up. But even we have to think twice about this next one. Can you see it? It's sliced bits of bananas, only they've been put onto a pizza. And what you may not have realized is that mixed in with the topping is curry. Like actual spicy curry. The thought of it makes us feel a little queasy, to be honest with you, but actually we'd be very wrong to feel that way because this food idea actually works really well. It's incredibly popular in Sweden and is a fairly common family snack in the Scandinavian country. It appears to be a close spiritual relative of the controversial Hawaiian pizza. We found that one of the ways to kick off a major culinary argument is to ask whether pineapple belongs on a pizza. Seriously, some people absolutely hate the idea. So the banana, which has a much less strong flavor to it than the pineapple, works, or doesn't, in much the same vein. But we like it. Fish fingers and custard. The world of science fiction is a wonderful, exciting, and inspiring place. Just think of how many of today's scientists were inspired to take their chosen career route because of a drama or a book. Quite something, right? However, some foodies also got inspired by sci-fi, and they got inspired in a way that, to the uninitiated, might seem just a little bit gross. We're talking fish finger custard. Okay, so in the Doctor Who episode, The 11th Hour, we're introduced to the 11th incarnation of the Time Lord, played by Matt Smith. We meet him through Amelia Pond, a young girl who sees his TARDIS crash down in the English village of Ledworth. The Doctor, who is still a bit unstable after his regeneration, tries to find something he likes to eat. He doesn't have much luck until he discovers the bizarre combination of fish fingers and custard. Now, our chefs could have done what the Doctor did, but they were either sensible or cowardly. What they did instead was to make their own fish fingers, but they didn't use custard. No, what they did was to make their own delicious hollandaise sauce, which kind of looks like custard, we suppose. Even so, we wish we were brave enough to take things one step further and try the Doctor's original recipe. But then again, maybe our stomachs will thank us. Ketchup and dark chocolate. The humble bottle of tomato ketchup is a real icon of the worldwide kitchen. It's versatile, being able to be used as a sauce, a dip, or an ingredient. It's also famous for being potentially very hard to get out of the bottle. Well, that's unless you use one that comes in a squeezy bottle, that is. How does that old rhyme go? When you shake the ketchup bottle, none will come. And then the lot something like that. Anyway, there's one thing that we don't think any of you have ever thought about putting ketchup on, and that's dark chocolate. Probably because it sounds pretty gross and yucky, right? Actually, you'd be really surprised because it turns out it's a really good idea. You see, dark chocolate, that's chocolate that's made from cocoa butter rather than with a milk-based butter, has hints of tomato in its taste. So the ketchup actually brings those out and makes them more noticeable. And the other cool thing is that the foods both contain a molecule called linalool. This explains why when you smell dark chocolate, there's a hint of coriander. And when you put the chocolate with the ketchup, that's said to become a lot stronger. Dark chocolate, also known as plain chocolate, is becoming more and more popular. That's because it's seen as being potentially healthy, containing as it does a high level of antioxidants. Caviar and white chocolate. If you were to ask people to name a food that sums up decadence and luxury, then we think the number one choice would be caviar. These little black pellets of salty sturgeon eggs are synonymous with wealth, glamour, and money. And as its status might well indicate, it's expensive too. Special Reserve Ossetra from French caviar firm Petrosian costs $378 for a 30-gram tin. That's pretty pricey, and the food itself is famous for its blend of flavors. Aficionados of the stuff say you can get tastes ranging from butter to salt to fish. It is said that a good caviar should contain at least 15 different flavors, and you are going to taste something different with each bite. But one thing caviar doesn't do is look pretty. The best stuff is black and odd looking, and when top British chef Heston Blumenthal combined it with white chocolate, we weren't too sure. But we should have had faith in the award-winning cook. His recipe allows the white chocolate to melt, leaving a pleasing change of flavors. Heston Blumenthal's flagship restaurant, the Fat Duck, has won 3 Michelin stars, and his interest in science has led him to experiment with flavors that might seem rather unusual. Here are some examples: snail porridge, bacon, and egg ice cream, and even parsnip cereal. But the reviews don't lie. The recipes might be off-putting, but he's renowned as one of the best in the business. Cheetos for breakfast. At the Things, we do like a bowl of good breakfast cereals. It's the combination of crunchy bits of corn or rice soaked in a bowl of milk that makes it a perfect way to start the day. But somebody took the idea of a crunchy foodstuff with milk in a whole different direction. One that we think looks awful, but tastes nice. They got a bag of Cheetos and turned them into a breakfast cereal. You would think that the combination of cheese-flavored corn would be a bit gooey when it was matched with milk, but you would be wrong. It's actually very tasty, and it definitely gives you a new way to kickstart your morning. If you don't know what Cheetos are, they're bits of corn covered in a cheese-flavored powder. They've been going since 1948 when Charles Elmer Doolin cooked them up in Dallas, Texas. They were the first snack of their kind, too, because previously that sort of thing had purely been all about potato chips. And as for the person who turned them into a breakfast cereal, they aren't the only person to have had that sort of idea. In 2017, a restaurant selling meals based on Cheetos opened up in New York City. Customers were able to sample the likes of Cheetos Sweetos crusted cheesecake, Cheetos Sweetos sweet and salty cookies, and Flamin' Hot Limon Chicken Tacos. What snack would you create a menu with? Tell us in the comments. And that's all for our 10 food combinations that are gross but good. If you liked it, then we think you should check out 10 times people absolutely lost the food lottery. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.